Greetings to everyone, and this is our last topic in Unit 1, that is crystalline splitting pattern for square planar complexes. So, we have earlier seen for octahedral geometry and tetrahedral geometry. See, in octahedral geometry, the ligands approach the metals along the axis, right? So, they get repelled more and they occupy the higher energy. Right? So Eg orbitals have higher energy than the T2G orbitals, in which lobes are present in between the axes. Right? Now, in tetrahedral geometry, we have seen that the ligands approach the metal in between the axes. That is why T2G orbitals are repelled more and they have higher energy. Okay? And Eg orbitals, that is, in which lobes are present along the axis, have lower energy. Now, what happens in square planar geometry? Although the hybridization is the same, okay, so the approach of the ligands with the metal orbitals will be different. Okay, so in square planar geometry, the ligands approach the metals in between the axis only. So it is a type of octahedral geometry only. The difference is here the splitting of the d orbitals will be somewhat like this. That is, first dx square y square orbitals are repelled more because their lobes are present along the axis, right? In dx and y axis field. That is why they get repelled more. Then in dx1, so because we have to assume that in square planar geometry that the ligands approach the metals along x-axis. Okay, that is why first all the x-axis will repel more. Okay, so first the lobes lobes which are present on the axis, that is in between x square and y square, they get repelled more. Then xy. Then you have dz square. Why dz square first? Then dx square is dxz, because in dz square the lobe you can see here. Yeah, I'll just point out with the help of a pen. So you can see here the node or the node like a circle is present on the x-axis. Okay, so that is why in dz square it gets repelled more than dxz. Okay, so that is why the you can say the numbering is like this. That is dx square y square first, then dxy, then dz square, and then dxz and dyz. So this is the splitting pattern for square planar complexes. Okay. So in square planar complexes, we have to assume that the ligands approach the metal in between the x-axis. Okay. So whatever orbitals are present in between the x-axis, that will be repelled more. So that is why first dx square y square gets repelled more, because they are present, the lobes are present on the x and y axis. Then dxy. Okay, the lobes are in between the axis of the x and y. Then you have dz square because the node is present in between the x-axis. Okay, and then you have dxz and dyz. Okay, so this is the main splitting pattern for square planar complex. And now this square planar complex is exhibited by D8 complexes, mostly by D8 complexes which have low spin. Okay, so strong field ligands like palladium, platinum, iridium, and gold can also exhibit this type of geometry. So just D8 configuration. Okay. So you can see here for this D8 configuration, generally this exhibits square planar geometry. Okay, so this is about the square planar geometry, and the splitting is that is crystal field splitting energy is 1, 2, and 3. So you have 3 crystal field splitting energy values for this square planar complex. Okay, and that you can read by yourself. Then next to this square planar, so we have finished for octahedral, tetrahedral, and square planar complexes, right? So you can see here the examples given for the octahedral, tetrahedral, and then okay. So examples are given. Okay. Only the electronic atoms are here. Okay. Fine. Now we'll just go for a brief conclusion or summary of the unit 1. So we have studied about, okay, I'll take out the, I'll stop sharing this and then I'll start sharing other screen, okay, so that you can go for that particular what we have studied till now. Okay. So this will be just like a revision or a summary type. Okay. Yeah, just a minute. So first we have come across the atomic structure, and then history of atomic orbitals, right? History of the atomic structure and all. Right? So, yeah. Not getting it. Okay. Yeah. So if we come back and see here, we have seen the atomic and molecular structure introduction part and history, what various scientists have done, right? So how they discovered nucleus, then neutron, electron, proton, and how they gave relationship between neutron, proton, and electron, right? Then we went for these atomic orbitals. So atomic and molecular orbitals. So atomic orbitals, that is SPDF, and molecular orbitals, you have bonding, anti-bonding, that is sigma bond formation and pi bond formation. Right? And then we had this LCAO, that is linear combination of atomic orbitals. So here we have seen the constructive and destructive interferences, that is the formation of psi plus and psi minus. Okay, and then we had this molecular orbital energy diagrams. So we have seen first example for hydrogen, which is simpler, and then we have went for nitrogen and oxygen. So for nitrogen it is bond order is 3, for oxygen it is 2, and for nitrogen it is diamagnetic and oxygen it is paramagnetic. Why? Because there is unpaired electron present in oxygen, and in nitrogen electrons are paired. Then we went for metallic bonding, that is electron C model, right? And we have seen the different properties like conductivity, then ductility, malleability, yeah, thermal conductivity, right? All those properties we have seen in metallic bonding. And then we went for valence bond theory. So in valence bond theory, we have gone for the via hybridizations, that is sp, sp2, sp3, sp3d, sp3d2, right? So all these hybridizations we have seen in valence bond theory. Then in molecular orbital theory, we have seen about what? That is again bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Then we have formation of sigma bond and pi bond. And then we can determine the magnetism shape of the molecules. Right? Then CFT, that is crystal field theory, and its factors affecting crystal field theory, right? Nature of the metal ion and then nature of the ligand, right? So then we went for crystal field splitting of octahedral complexes, tetrahedral complexes, and square planar complexes. So all these things we have done in 8 modules. Right? So all these modules are very, very important, and please go through, and if you have any doubts, please come and ask me. Right? And we have notes for this also. So notes and quizzes are given to us. So, yeah, ending up our unit. Thank you.